Welcome back to Top Coin. Hey coin collectors, treasure hunters, and curious minds. Have you ever walked past a coin and thought, it's just 5 cents, right? Well, not so fast. That small, overlooked nickel sitting in your drawer could actually be hiding a big surprise. Today, we're diving deep into the world of Canadian coins, and more specifically, the 1979 Canadian 5-cent coin. Believe it or not, some of these humble nickels could be worth way more than their face value, and I mean way more. So grab your coin jar, because after watching this video, you might be racing to check if you've got a hidden gem worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Let's start at the beginning. The year was 1979. Pierre Trudeau was Prime Minister of Canada. The Toronto Blue Jays were just in their early days as a baseball team. And in the Royal Canadian Mint, millions of 5-cent coins were being produced. Over 84 million to be exact. These coins were made of pure nickel and featured the iconic beaver design, a symbol that has been proudly used on the Canadian nickel since 1937. The obverse side of the coin, of course, features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, the young portrait designed by Arnold Mackin, a look that was used on Canadian coinage from 1965 to 1989. Now, although 84 million may sound like a huge number, not all of these coins are the same. And this is where things start to get interesting. Because among those millions, there are rare varieties, error coins, and extremely high-grade examples that stand out from the rest. And those are the ones collectors are going crazy for today. So you're probably asking, what makes this coin so valuable if so many were made? Great question. Let's break it down. First, condition is everything. A regular circulated 1979 nickel might only be worth face value. But if you find one in mint state, meaning no scratches, no wear, and pristine luster, it could be worth 20 to 50 times its face value, sometimes more. If the coin is graded by a professional service like ICCS or PCGS, and it receives a high grade like MS 65 or above, the value can jump into the hundreds. But wait, it gets even more exciting. There are error coins from this year. That's right, some 1979 nickels were struck off-center, have doubling, or contain planchet flaws. These rare mistakes can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error point. One such example is the double die obverse, where the image on the Queen's profile appears slightly doubled. It's a subtle detail, but trained eyes and passionate collectors know how to spot it, and they'll pay a premium for it. What's the market like today for these coins? Well, as of 2025, the coin collecting world is booming. More people are diving into the hobby thanks to social media, YouTube, and online marketplaces. Coins that once sat forgotten in drawers are now getting sold at auctions for eye-popping prices. A typical 1979 Canadian 5-cent coin in average circulated condition is still worth about 5 cents, but higher-grade examples can sell for $10, $50, or even over $100. Coins with verified mint errors have sold at auctions for $500 or more, depending on their rarity. To give you a few real examples. A mint state 1979 nickel graded MS 66 by ICCS recently sold for over $150. A dramatic off-center strike error from that year went for $600. And a full roll of pristine 1979 nickels sold to a collector for nearly $1,000 due to their exceptional condition. Now you're probably wondering, do you have a valuable 1979 nickel sitting around? Here's how to check. First, look at the condition. If it's heavily worn, has nicks and scratches, or is dull, it's probably only worth face value. But if your coin still shines, has no wear, and the details are sharp, you might be holding on to something special. Next, check for errors. Use a magnifying glass and look closely at the Queen's portrait and the lettering. Any signs of doubling, off-center images, strange lines, or misaligned edges? These are red flags for mint errors, and red flags in coin collecting are good. You can also weigh the coin. Canadian nickels from 1979 should weigh around 4.54 grams. A difference could indicate a wrong planchet or minting issue, which increases value. Finally, consider getting the coin professionally graded. A small investment in grading can help you unlock its true value and makes it easier to sell to serious collectors. Let's say you find one of these rare 1979 nickels. What next? You have a few options. You can list it on online marketplaces like eBay or Etsy. You can bring it to a coin dealer or attend a coin show. There are also specialized auction houses and forums where collectors are actively searching for rare Canadian coins. Just remember, always do your research. Compare your coin with similar ones that have sold recently. Don't rush into a deal. A little patience and knowledge can go a long way in getting the best price. So there you have it. The 1979 Canadian 5-cent coin, something millions of people overlooked, tossed into drawers, spent without a thought, can actually be worth much more than its tiny face value. Whether it's a high-grade beauty, a rare error coin, or just a cool piece of Canadian history, this little nickel proves that treasure can truly be hiding in plain sight. Keep your eyes open, check your change, and who knows? That forgotten nickel in your pocket might just be your next big find. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that may look small and ordinary, but trust me, this little piece of metal could be worth a whole lot more than just 5 cents. That's right, we're talking about the Canadian 5-cent coin from the year 2000. Yes, the humble nickel from the turn of the millennium. You've probably seen it, maybe even used it without a second thought. But what if I told you some versions of this coin are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today? What makes it so special? Why is it suddenly catching fire in collector markets? And how can you tell if you have one of these valuable gems sitting in a jar at home? Well, stick around because we're unpacking the history, hidden features, collector demand, and current market value of the 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to want to go searching through your spare change. The Canadian 5-cent coin has a long and fascinating history, but the year 2000 marked a particularly intriguing chapter. First, a little context. Back in the year 2000, Canada was celebrating the new millennium, and the Royal Canadian Mint was busy striking millions of coins. The 5-cent coin, known commonly as the nickel, was made from a composition of 94.5% steel, 3.5% copper, and 2% nickel plating. It featured the famous beaver design by G. Kruger Gray on the reverse side and the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Dora de Pettery Hunt on the obverse. But here's the twist. Not all 2000 nickels were created equal. While the standard versions were produced in the tens of millions, a small number were minted with subtle variations that turned them into true rarities. Some of these rare coins were included in special edition proof-like sets. Others were struck with high-quality planchets. And in a few even rarer cases, there are errors and low-mintage test coins that collectors are desperately hunting for today. The regular circulation version of the 2000 nickel had a high mintage, around 153 million. However, a much smaller number of coins were minted for special collector sets. These versions tend to be much higher in quality, with sharp details, polished surfaces, and minimal wear. Some were even minted with a special P mark or no mark at all, depending on their purpose. A few versions were used for test strikes to experiment with new materials or minting techniques. This is where it gets interesting. There are a few known error coins from the year 2000 that collectors are going wild over. We're talking about off-center strikes, double dies, die clashes, or coins struck on the wrong planchets. Some of these errors are incredibly rare and can fetch a significant premium. For example, a double die obverse or a nickel struck on a blank mint for another denomination can bring in hundreds to even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and certification. In the coin world, condition can make all the difference. A 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin in circulated condition might only be worth a few cents over face value. But the same coin in mint state condition, that's MS 65 or higher, can command big money. Add a rare variation or error to the mix, and you're looking at a real treasure. A regular circulated coin from 2000 will usually go for around 5 to 25 cents depending on wear. Not a huge return, but still more than face value. However, a proof-like version from a Royal Canadian Mint set in pristine condition can sell for $5 to $15, sometimes more. Now, here's where it gets juicy. A high-grade MS 67 or MS 68 coin. We're talking about coins graded and slabbed by trusted grading services like ICCS or PCGS. Can sell for $100, $200, or more, especially if it's a rare variation or has a desirable error. One such coin, a 2000 P-test strike, has sold for over $1,000 Canadian dollars at auction because of its rarity and pristine quality. Another example includes error coins that were misstruck, missing design details, or struck on the wrong planchet. These can bring in prices ranging from $300 to over $2,000, depending on the market. And let's not forget about collector demand, which is constantly increasing. The popularity of Canadian coin collecting is on the rise, especially with younger generations looking into old collections inherited from family members. So, now you're probably wondering, how can you tell if your 2000 nickel is valuable? Is it in near-perfect, shiny condition? If yes, it might be from a mint set. Does it have a visible mint error? Check for doubling in the text, off-center designs, or odd shapes. Is it magnetic? That helps confirm if it's steel core, but test coins may have different compositions. Look for unusual features. Different edge designs, thickness, or planchet errors could be the key. Get it graded. If you suspect you have a rare or valuable version, send it to a professional grading service. If you happen to come across a 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin, don't just spend it. Take a closer look. Compare it with online databases or price guides. Join coin forums. Talk to other collectors. You never know. You could be holding on to something truly special, and if you find that you do have a rare version, you might want to get it professionally graded before deciding to sell. High-grade coins almost always bring in better returns when certified. And who knows? Your little nickel might just become the star of your collection or your next big sale. That's all for today's deep dive into the 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin, a small coin with a surprisingly big story. If you learned something new, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future treasure hunts through Pocket Change. And hey, do you have a rare coin in your collection? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing your stories and helping you uncover hidden value. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin. Yes, that humble nickel, and how some of these seemingly ordinary coins could actually be worth a surprising amount of money. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, you're going to want to stick around for this one. By the end of this video, you might just run to your change jar to see if you've been holding on to a small fortune without even knowing it. Let's start with a bit of background. The Canadian 5-cent coin, often referred to as the nickel, has been in circulation for well over a century. While it has gone through many changes in design, size, and metal composition over the years, the 2005 version stands out in a few interesting ways. In 2005, the Royal Canadian Mint released the nickel with the iconic beaver on one side, a symbol of industriousness and one of Canada's most recognized animals. That design has been a staple on the 5-cent coin since 1937. But what makes 2005 special is not just the beaver, it's the details, the minting process, and most importantly, the errors and variations that make some of these coins extremely valuable to collectors today. Now, not all 2005 nickels are valuable, let's be clear, but some of them are. And the key is knowing exactly what to look for. First off, let's talk about the metal composition. The regular 2005 5-cent coin was struck using a composition of 94.5% steel, 3.5% copper, and 2% nickel plating. These coins were manufactured using multiply-plated steel technology, which was becoming more common for the mint due to cost efficiency and durability. But here's where it gets interesting. There are also rare versions and errors of the 2005 nickel that weren't meant to be released to the public. For example, some 2005 nickels may have minting errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet errors. These coins can be worth far more than their face value, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on the type and condition of the error. Also, there's a version of the 2005 5-cent coin with a P mark, which stands for the plating process. Some versions without this mark can be considered scarcer and more desirable. There are also satin or proof-like strikes made for special collector sets. If you come across one of those, especially in pristine condition, you're looking at a coin that's worth far more than 5 cents. Number 1. Historical significance. The mid-2000s were a time of transition in Canadian coin minting. The use of steel plating was becoming more standardized, and collectors pay close attention to transitional years because of the potential for errors or variations. The 2005 nickel is right in that sweet spot. Number 2. Rarity and error coins. Collectors absolutely love error coins. They're like printing mistakes on stamps, rare, unexpected, and valuable. A double die or off-center strike from 2005 could fetch you anywhere from $20 to $500 or more, depending on how dramatic and rare the error is. Number 3. Condition. A coin's grade can drastically impact its value. A 2005 nickel in circulated condition might not be worth much, but if you find one in mint state, or even better, in a proof-like finish from a collector's set, the value can increase significantly. Coins graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services are especially sought after. Now let's talk dollars and cents literally. What's the market saying about the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin? On average, a regular 2005 nickel in circulated condition is worth its face value, 5 cents. But that's just the beginning. A mint state coin could be worth $1 to $5. Still doesn't sound like much? Wait, if you have a proof-like version, a coin with a rare mint error, or a unique variation like missing mint marks or plating issues, you could be holding on to something worth anywhere from $20 to several $100s, depending on demand and rarity. Some particularly pristine or rare specimens have sold at auctions or online marketplaces like eBay for over $500. The best part: these coins can be hiding in plain sight, in old jars, in drawers, or even mixed in with your pocket change. If you're looking to sell a potentially valuable 2005 nickel, you'll want to first get it appraised or graded by a professional service like ICS or PCGS. Then, you can either sell through auction houses, coin dealers, or reputable online platforms. Just be sure you know what you have before you let it go for too little. Before we wrap up, here are some quick tips if you're hunting for valuable 2005 Canadian 5-cent coins. Inspect the coin under magnification. Look for any doubling, off-centering, or strange marks that might signal a minting error. Check for mint marks. Is the P mark present? Is there a missing mark? That could mean something rare. Look at the coin's edges and color. Improper plating or planchet issues can sometimes be spotted with the naked eye. Compare with verified listings online to get a ballpark value. Always store valuable coins properly. Use protective sleeves or holders to preserve the condition. So there you have it. That's the story of the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin. A little piece of metal that might just be worth a whole lot more than you think. Whether it's a rare error, a proof-like strike, or just an unusually well-preserved example, this coin has become a favorite for collectors and a great reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones we overlook. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another coin story, market update, or collecting tip. And don't forget to comment below, have you found any 2005 nickels in your collection? What's the coolest coin you've come across? Today, we're zooming in on a small but surprisingly valuable piece of Canadian currency, the 2009 Canadian 5-cent coin. Now, before you toss aside that nickel in your change jar, you might want to take a closer look, because that little coin could be worth a lot more than just 5 cents. Yes, you heard that right. Some versions of this coin are turning heads in the numismatic world, and collectors are willing to pay big bucks for the right one. So grab your magnifying glass and stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin matters, how to spot a valuable one, and what it could be worth in today's market. Let's rewind a bit. The 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel in Canada, has a rich history going all the way back to 1922 when it shifted from silver to a composition of nickel, hence the nickname. But the design we know today, featuring the beaver on a rock, was first introduced in 1937. Designed by G. Kruger Gray, it remains one of the most iconic Canadian coin designs ever minted. Fast forward to 2009, a year that didn't seem too remarkable at the time. The global economy was recovering from the financial crisis, and coin production in Canada was business as usual. But something about the 2009 5-cent coin makes it stand out. So what happened in 2009 that makes this nickel potentially worth more than its face value? In 2009, the Royal Canadian Mint struck millions of 5-cent coins. Most were made of nickel-plated steel with a weight of 3.95 grams. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, while the reverse shows the beaver perched on a rock, a symbol of hard work and Canadian identity. But here's the twist. Some of these coins were minted in lower quantities, special editions, or ended up with errors and variations that collectors are now chasing. And those are the ones that could be worth way more than 5 cents. Let's talk about mint errors. Error coins can range from die cracks, off-center strikes, double dies, or even planchet issues. In 2009, a few such error nickels slipped through the cracks and into circulation. Imagine finding a 2009 5-cent coin with a misaligned die strike or a missing plating layer. These types of errors can make an ordinary-looking coin suddenly worth tens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on the rarity and condition. There are also reports of proof-like specimens and special collector's sets from the mint that include the 2009 nickel. Coins from these sets, especially in mint state condition, we're talking MS 65 and above, can command a premium on the collector's market. So how can you tell if your 2009 Canadian 5-cent coin is worth more than pocket change? First, examine the coin closely under a good light. Look for any irregularities, things like doubling in the lettering, strange marks, misalignments, or differences in metal sheen. Then, check the condition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint state, will always fetch higher prices. And if you really want to know what you have, consider sending the coin to a professional grading service like ICCS in Canada or PCGS/NGC if you're based elsewhere. Now, let's get into the part you've been waiting for. How much is a 2009 Canadian 5-cent coin actually worth today? For standard circulated versions, the coin is generally still worth just its face value, 5 cents. But here's where it gets exciting. Uncirculated and high-grade specimens can sell from $2 to $10. Coins with mint errors have fetched $20 to over $100. Depending on the nature and severity of the error, collector's editions and proof versions can command $10 to $50 or more, especially when certified and graded on auction platforms like eBay. Rare 2009 nickels have been spotted selling for $75 to even $150 when part of a special set or when showcasing a significant error. Coin shops and collector forums also show a steady demand for these niche varieties. Collectors are always looking for the next hidden gem, the coin that flew under the radar. And the 2009 Canadian nickel is just that. It's recent enough that many people overlook it, but rare enough in certain varieties to spark major interest. It's also a coin that represents a moment in modern Canadian minting. Not quite vintage, not entirely new. A perfect storm for emerging value. The next time you're sorting through your change, don't skip past the humble 2009 nickel. It might just be the tiny treasure hiding in plain sight. Remember, every coin has a story. And sometimes, those stories are worth more than you think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on our deep dives into the world of valuable coins and collectibles. And hey, if you've got a 2009 5-cent coin or have found one with an error, drop a comment below and let us know what you discovered. We'd love to feature your find in a future video. Thanks for watching and happy hunting.